Good evening, everyone, and thanks so much for taking some time out today to join us. My name is Logan. I'm here with School of Finance Scholarships Canada, and I'm joined by Mei Lee of SMSU, Southwest Minnesota State University. She's going to tell us a little bit about studying in Minnesota, USA more broadly, some of the programs and some admission stuff, all that good material. Of course, feel free to use the chat. We have some questions from the registration. We're happy to take questions in the chat as well. We'll try to address them near the end of the show. But for now, without further ado, thanks again for joining us, and Maylee, take it away.
Thank you, Logan. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Lee Moua-Vue, and I am joining you all the way from maybe a tad warmer, I don't know, Southwest Minnesota, from Marshall, Minnesota. And so my name is Mei Lee, and I'm the director for the Center for International Education at Southwest Minnesota State University. So we I'm very excited to join you and tell you a little bit more about SMSU and then about Minnesota and about opportunities that will be wonderful for you to come and join our Mustang family. So, believe you can see my screen. Um, so here at Southwest Minnesota State University, our motto is discover, engage, and lead. And so this is our web address. It's just smsu.edu. And I'm going to share a little bit about SMSU, Minnesota, and just what we do here. And hopefully that'll give you some good idea about our school. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them at the end as well. So uh, this is a photo of the front of our school. And you can see everything is very, very big in terms of like big open sky and very flat because this is the US. And we are bordered by, of course, Canada to the north here. And this is Minnesota right here, the state of Minnesota. Here in this little region here is Marshall, Minnesota, and that's where Southwest Minnesota State University is. So we're located in this region right here. I wanted to share this photo with you because this is actually the start of where the Great Plains begin. And so it's very flat. You see the prairies and it's beautiful. You see the whole entire sky and there are beautiful sunrises and sunsets. So that's where we're at. And here's a clearer photo. This is the state of Minnesota here again, bordered by Canada to the north. And then, of course, lots of different states that surrounds us. Our mascot is the Mustang. So we are strong, wild horses. And so right here is our mascot. And this is the city of Marshall. We are located about 2.5 hours 2.5 hours away from Minneapolis, St. Paul. So this is the Twin Cities, and this is where most international flights would land. And so this is where, if you are flying to the States to Minnesota, then you'd land here, and then you'd take a bus or you'd take a car and drive down to where we are located here in Marshall. Okay, so um, in the state of Minnesota, we are very proud of our state. We have a national football team called the Vikings. And we're very proud of them, even though sometimes they don't do so well. But you have an opportunity when you're here to go and watch a professional National Football League team play if you're interested. We also have hockey teams, we have women and men's basketball, and we definitely have also baseball as well. So lots of professional sports that you can come and watch as well. In Minnesota, we are also home to big corporations. So you'll see that we are home to Target, to 3M. We are the headquarters for Best Buy, the popular Mayo Clinic. We also house headquarters for U.S. Bank, Schwann's, and lots of top industry and different businesses. And so in Minnesota, we are home to many different types of businesses. We're also home to the Mall of America. And so if you haven't been to the Mall of America, it is really close by to the Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport. In fact, if you get off the plane, if you wanted to, you can go straight to the Mall of America and do some shopping there. It was once known as the largest mall in the US. And in the middle of the mall, there's a huge amusement park that's about 3 football fields in length. And so definitely worth the visit if you haven't visited yet. And we are also known as the land of 10,000 lakes. So we would love for you to join the Mustang family. And so I'm here to tell you a little bit more about the process to come and join us. The application process, steps after you're admitted, and then just telling you a little bit more about some logistics that you might want to know about. So this is the team at the Center for International Education. We are small and mighty. There are 3 of us, but we do everything with processing your application, helping you and assisting you with any questions that you may have so that you can get to SMSU and start your journey here. So right here, you'll see Miss Jamie Leonard. She is our cool aunt, and she processes all the phone calls and emails from all of our students. And so you'll most likely be greeted by Miss Jamie, and she is fantastic. Mr. Michael, he's our assistant director of the Center for International Education, and he's the one that makes all the admission decisions. And so once you apply, he will be reviewing your admission, and if you're admissible, he'll admit you and then process your documents for you. And here's me again. All right. So you might wonder, why should you come to Southwest Minnesota State University? Well, because we are a wonderful school. We are a public regional university, a top-notch Minnesota education at a smaller size setting. And so when you come here, you have very attentive faculty and staff who can help you with any issues that you may encounter. Our application process is very simple, and our processing for admission is very quick. It takes 3 to 5 business days at the most once we receive everything from you to process your admission decision and create you your documents. And so we're very, very quick. And another thing I do want to mention is that at Southwest Minnesota State University, we are so close to home. We're just right across the border for many of you, and we're also centrally located in the US, so that if you're on the East Coast, West Coast, you can fly, and it would be the same amount of time depending on where you're coming from. And so one thing about coming to study in the United States, if you don't know, is that you don't need a US visa to come enter the US and study as a student in the United States. All you need is to be admitted and for us to process you a document called the I-20. And so we take care of that from our office, and you'll be getting an admission letter and the I-20 from our office if you are admitted. So yes, we would love for you to consider SMSU and join our family. Just in case you're interested, we do have some popular majors that a lot of our students are enrolled in, and these are just a few. I also starred the ones that are STEM majors, so science, technology, engineering, and mathematics majors. This is important because in the future, if you do decide to stay after graduation to work in the United States, if you're graduating from a STEM approved major, which these that are starred are, then you would be able to work in the United States legally for a total of 3 years max. And so that's a great thing. Most students, after you graduate, you get a total of 1 year. So if you do enroll and graduate with a STEM major, then you do get 3 years total. So agronomy, biology, chemistry. I mean, these are all very popular majors here at SMSU that a lot of our international students um, do enroll and major in. Environmental science, exercise science, medical lab science, psychology, social work, uh, sociology. So these are all different types of majors that most of our students are enrolled in. We do have a lot more majors at SMSU, but these are the ones that are popular with our students. So you might wonder, what is the international application process? So this is our website, and it's very simple. It's just smsu.edu. And when you get there, all you have to do is click on the admission link on the top here, and then there's a drop down for international, and then you'll be able to get to this website right here. So I'm going to show you a little bit about the requirements so that you know. Uh, our application deadlines are uh, coming up in the summer. So if you wanted to start your first year at SMSU this August, which is a fall 2025 start, your application is due by June 1st. If you want to start in January, then your application is due by November 1st. And so we always recommend students to apply early just so that you can receive your admission letter and your I-20 in advance, at least 3 months before the start term that you wish to begin. Most students around the world, they do have to apply for a F1 international student visa stamp, but great news for Canadians is that you do not need to have a US visa to study in the States. All you need is your admission letter and your I-20, which our office, we create that for you. And so that makes things a lot easier for our Canadians. All right, so as you scroll on that website, you'll see that there are 5 steps. And the first step to apply is step 1, which is to apply online. This is just a static photo, and so I can't click anything for you. But if you click on apply for admission, you'll be able to see some clickable links there, and it will show you how you can apply for admission online. And there are even guides, PDF guides, where you can see different photos of where to click and what to fill in. And so very easy instructions for you to apply. Um, in addition to that, there is a required processing fee. Um, it is $100 to submit an application to to SMSU. And what we do need in addition to your online application and your processing fee is we'll need your high school education transcript. So we'll need to review your high school transcript and check for a minimum requirement of a US equivalent grade point average of at least a 2.5 or higher. So if you're in the United States, we have a B, C, D, F scale on a 4.0 scale. So if you're normally a high achieving student, A, B, C student, you probably meet this minimum US requirement of 2.5. Let's see. English language proficiency is required, although our Canadians, good thing for you is that the English language proficiency is waived, so you don't need to submit any evidence of that to us. So you don't need to submit this. A personal statement is recommended, and then the US SAT and ACT test scores, it's optional, it's not required, but we do want you to submit any Canadian national test scores if you do have them, along with your high school transcripts. So these are the documents that we'll need for you to submit through your online application. So that's step 1. So again, with the drop down, if you click on it, these are the step-by-step application instructions. This is how you create your account to apply. And then again, there are step-by-step instructions on how you can upload some of those evidence and required documents that we need into what's called your Mustang admission portal. So this Mustang admission portal is where you would submit your evidence of your $100 processing fee, your high school transcript, your national exams, etc. Okay, so the next thing is, as I mentioned, you don't need a visa. All you need is your passport, your admission letter, and your I-20 in order to enter the US and study in the United States. And so, in order to get your I-20 from our school, you need to be officially admitted to our school first. And so this is something that you don't need to worry about. Once you are admitted, then we will make sure that we verify that letter. Um, we do need you to show bank statements that you do have enough funding for you for at least 1 year of your tuition and living expenses. Um, if your bank statements are not under your name, if it's your parents or if it's a family friend or a different sponsor, then we would need to have them fill out what's called the financial sponsor form available here, just so that they can verify that you are able to use the funding um, from their sponsorship. Then we'll need a copy of your passport. Again, we don't need your F1 visa because you won't need that. And then all of this is here does not pertain to you. We put this medical history and immunization form here just so that you may be aware. In the United States, we do have some requirements for some certain types of vaccinations. So we want to make sure that you can prepare for that and get that done at home before you come. And so that's the reason why we put it here. It's not required for your admission or for your I-20, but it's required for when you start studying here. And so we wanted to make sure that you're aware of that. So basically, once you finish step 1 and step 2, what you'll need to do is check your online portal, your Mustang admission portal. And once Mr. Michael is able to review your application, he will be posting your admission letter and the I-20 on this portal. And so if you want to go into the portal and just check it on a regular basis, like at least once a week, you should be able to see your decision very quickly. Again, it takes him less than 5 business days in order to process an application. You might wonder what is the cost to come to Southwest Minnesota State University. And that's one of the things that we pride ourselves in is that we are a very affordable school and we want to be affordable for all students, regardless of your background. And so here, this is this year's tuition and fees, which is altogether here, it's a little over $10,000 per year. Our housing here, if you choose a double occupancy, having a roommate, this is what the cost is for the year. This is a meal plan, having 2 meals a day for the year. We do have a mandatory health insurance requirement in the United States. All internationals who come to study in the United States have to purchase these type of insurance, and it's required by our Minnesota state law. And so this is the health insurance that covers a student for 1 year. And then this is just miscellaneous supplies, books that you will want to purchase throughout your year for your studies. And so this is the average cost it would be for attendance for 1 year, which is 23,200 US dollars. We are always ranked in the top 15 annually in the United States as being one of the most affordable schools for all students. And the difference between us and other schools is that our international students do not pay a separate price, whether you are from Minnesota, another state in the US, or from Canada, you pay the same fee right here. And so that's one of the reasons why we pride ourselves as being an affordable highly valued school for all students. So just to share with you, this is what the Mustang admission portal looks like. It's fairly new, but when you apply online, you'll get your student ID and what's called your STAR ID number. And what you'll do is you'll be able to open up your Mustang admission portal, and this is what it looks like. It'll say your name on here and welcome you to your admission portal. And then here, if you scroll down on the Mustang admission portal, it will have all these checklist items here that you need to submit. So if everything is received, it will turn green. And once everything is received, then we will be processing the admission decision and the I-20 document for you. If there's anything that's missing, then there'll be a red X there, and you'll know that we need that in order to process your admission decision. So it's very simple process, very straightforward. And then what you'll do is if you have anything to upload, you'll upload it by using this button down here. So this is where you'll go to submit your documents for your admission application. So just some ideas to speed along the admission process if you're in a hurry. We just want to make sure that you use your own personal email and you know the password so that you can get into that email. That's how we will communicate with you. And if you forget your password for your Mustang admission portal, it'll be sent to that address. So make sure you use an email that you are familiar with and you can get into. Um, Again, all the required documents that I shared with you earlier has to be submitted through your Mustang admission portal. So I shared that screen earlier with you. That's where you would submit everything. You can email us at our CIE email address if you have any issues. And then once everything is submitted, we review your documents for both the admission and the I-20 through your Mustang admission portal. If you have any questions, feel free to connect with us. We're very, very quick. We ask that you put your full name and then either your STAR ID or your student ID in all your communications so that we can look you up very quickly to respond to you. And again, the $100 international admission processing fee is required to process your admission. We don't mail or email the admission letters or the I-20s anymore, so they are all posted on the Mustang admission portal. So once you've been admitted and we created those documents, it's all posted on there, and then you can download it and print it out. So usually for other students in different countries, they would need to take the admission letter and the I-20 to apply for a US visa stamp. But for Canadians, you don't need to worry about that. So you can skip this step. So what you'll want to do is you'll start getting communications and emails from our university. And so once you're admitted, Miss Jamie is the one who's going to be emailing you and telling you about when you should be arriving to school, when orientation begins, and the fall orientation begins on Monday, August 18th. She'll be helping you with arranging for a smooth, easy transportation when you arrive to the MSP International Airport, all the way to when you come to SMSU. She'll be able to share with you some of the different hotels that's near the airport. And we do ask that you communicate with us regularly so that we can make sure that you're picked up and you arrive to SMSU in time. So again, the final step 5, is orientation. So that's when you get to arrive to Southwest Minnesota State University, you check into your residence hall, and you meet the other international students who are starting school like you are. And so it's a wonderful time to make friends, learn about school, get registered for classes, and get yourself situated before the next week so that you can walk into class and be prepared. So we'll go over all that important information at your mandatory international student orientation. And so it's really critical that you arrive in time to join in MISO. So yeah, so those are the five steps, and that's all clearly explained on the international admission website as well. When students arrive, it's important to know that there is a student tuition payment policy. When you arrive, most students pay this at orientation time, but students do pay a minimum of the $3,000 US upon arrival or even before arrival at orientation. And when that happens, then you're able to register for your classes. And so you do need to make this minimum payment before you're able to register for classes. But as you come here and study here, there's just so many things that you can do, that you can choose to be involved in. We encourage students to get connected and and get involved. You can see our students have over 100 different types of clubs and opportunities that you can choose to participate in. We have what's called the Mustang Zone, which is the popular fun spot where people can play games. There are ping pong tables, pool tables, and karaokeing. So there's a fun area where lots of people hang out to enjoy with other students. And so lots of things to do. These are just some pictures of campus activities, just so that you know what you're coming to. And here we believe that one student's success is everyone's success. We all want you to succeed. Again, I mentioned that we are a smaller regional public university, and the great thing is that you're not a number. So if you don't come to class, if somehow people are worried about you, we will all know who you are before you graduate, because we are not a big university where you are one of the large masses. We are able to know who you are and get to know all our students individually. And so the great thing about us is that we are here and we want to make sure that you succeed and you graduate from here. And so there are different resources on campus. We have tutoring centers, we have student success guides, coaches to help you, making sure that you are able to keep up with your academics. We've got the career services office where if you need people to review your resume, connect you with jobs and internships, we have that. And then we have scholarships. So we do have scholarships that are offered to international students. Most of the time, new first year students, we do have limited scholarships that are offered. Although after the first year, once you have established your academic standing at our school, many of our students are able to get scholarships in their second, third, and fourth year studies to help with their expenses. And so our scholarships are offered to international students as well. Uh, I wanted to share a little bit about employment in the United States. When you arrive to the United States, if you wanted to work on campus at SMSU, there are lots of opportunities, and a lot of our international students do work on campus. There are some rules that we'll go over with you during orientation time, but international students can work on campus for up to 20 hours a week when school is in session. And during the break times, winter break and summer break, if you wanted to work for more hours, you can do that. Again, there are lots of different opportunities for jobs on campus. So you can work for residence halls, the library, for your different academic departments, for in the dining hall. So there are many different places that you can choose to work at. Let's see. So once you graduate or close to graduate, you can do what's called curricular practical training, which allows you to work um, through part-time jobs as internships or co-ops, and it's very popular for students who are about to graduate. We do have optional practical training, and I shared this to you earlier. After you graduate, you have an opportunity to work in the U.S. anywhere in a job that is related to your degree, your major that you graduated with. Those of you who study in STEM majors, as I had talked about earlier, you get an additional 2 years of work option called STEM OPT. And so those of you who graduate with a STEM major, you can work in the US for up to 3 years after you graduate. So yeah, these are just some ideas. We'll go over a lot of these employment rules and opportunities usually during orientation when students arrive. Okay, so our center is where everything starts. It's where you connect with us, you apply, you will come to campus and we'll be the first people to meet you and greet you. And then as you graduate, we'll be helping you with making sure that you do your paperwork for any of your employment benefits that you want to do. But throughout your time here, we also provide lots of fun opportunities that you can participate in. And so we do a lot of events, lots of excursions and field trips, just so that you can get to know Minnesota and get to know this place a little bit better. So we are your home away from home, and it never gets boring here. There's a lot of things that you can choose to do, lots of opportunities that you can choose to participate in. But these are just some of the photos of our international students from all around the world. We've got students from Nepal, students from Dominican Republic, students from Vietnam, and of course, students from Canada. So um, I think that I shared a lot of photos with you, but I also wanted to share this video just so that you can have a better sense of Southwest Minnesota State University. And in that sense, then you can see this campus. If you don't come visit, you can see where what we're like. So I'm going to go ahead and go to this video and share this with you. Let me see.
Minnesota State University. I'm on.
Sorry, Mei Lee, you're muted. Could you unmute? We can only see but not hear. Sorry, Mei Lee, is it possible to unmute yourself? Mei Lee, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but if so, is it possible to unmute yourself, as we can't hear the video? Thanks, Manly. You're personally muted though. If you could unmute yourself in Teams.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can indeed. Thanks very much.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to stop sharing my screen um, and then open it up to anyone who might have any questions about studying in Minnesota, coming to the United States, or learning more about SMSU. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Cool, thanks, Manly. We do have a few questions from the registration process, and if anyone on the call today wants to ask any questions, please do use the chat to do so. In the interim, can you tell us a little bit more about the single tuition fee thing? And consequently, are scholarships divvied up between domestic and international, or is everybody sort of on the same playing field?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm glad that you asked that. So in the United States, you'll find that there are so many different types of universities and institutions, and you'll see that there are, some of the very top tier elite private schools, and their price tag is going to be um, a lot more than what SMSU costs. And then there are some of the other very popular, larger public universities or private universities that are very well known. And of course, their price tag is going to be very different. But um, one thing that we do want to we want to share and take pride in ourselves and is that Southwest Minnesota State University is a very affordable university because we want to be a very affordable university for all. And so we are ranked nationally in the top 15 every year as being an affordable institution for all students. And the reason is because our students, whether they are from the state of Minnesota, from another state, or from countries all over the world, they pay the same price. So I mentioned to you earlier that our tuition and fees for the year is a little over 10,000 US dollars per year. That price is the same. Doesn't matter if you're from Minnesota or if you're from Canada, you pay that same price. As far as scholarship goes, we offer a lot of scholarships to students. We don't have a lot of initial scholarships for international students, but we do offer scholarships for international students as well. When you first apply, we do have a high merit scholarship for international students, and so not everybody gets that scholarship. Only one of our top scholars will get that. But once you arrive to SMSU and you've established your academic credit and you engage and become leaders on campus, then you would be eligible to apply for scholarships in your second, your third, and your fourth year of study. And many of our international students do get scholarships.
Cool. Are any of those awards renewable, by which I mean you sort of apply and qualify in your first year, keep your grades up, and continue to receive funding through multiple years?
Yes, it depends on the scholarships. Some of them are renewable and some of them are one-time funding. But every year we have a scholarship system where students can go into and they don't have to do very much. They just have to update their personal profile saying that they're studying and what majors and what their hobbies are, what their future goals are. And then the system looks for scholarships that would fit their profile. And so students just need to go and accept. And there may be a couple of application requirements, but not very much. And even now, we have scholarships. Our scholarship application deadline is March 1st, which is coming up. And we don't have as many students who've applied for them as we wanted. And so if you're the one person who applied for the scholarship, who knows, you may be the one who receive it. So yeah.
Very cool. We often see that here in Canada as well. A lot of scholarship admins of various sorts want more applicants, and small percentage get no apps at all, such that if you are that one lone student, you win by default, right? It's kind of great.
Right, right.
Okay, so one more scholarship specific question. This one's about mature students. To your knowledge, are there any awards for mature students, people who are returning after some time away, as it were?
Yes, absolutely. So there are scholarships for, as I mentioned, on our scholarship, um, in our scholarship system, called Award Spring, you would want to update your profile. So that's where you would reveal that you are an adult student, you've been away for some time, or if you are a veteran, for example, you want to indicate that because there are
Mm.
specific scholarships that are tailored towards those individual types of students. So yeah, so we have lots of scholarships. Students can apply through the system called Award Spring, and uh, usually within the second, third, and fourth year, students will be awarded some sort of scholarship, and it'll be up to them to go and receive it and apply and check that they want the scholarship.
Cool. Yeah, it's always a popular topic among students interested in financial aid. Is there any way to sort of check out what is potentially available before submitting an application, or does an application need to be submitted to get access to the Award Spring listing?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. Um, so there isn't a way that you can go and access the system unless you are a current student. So unfortunately, for those scholarships, unless you are a current student, you won't be able to access that system and look at the many scholarships that we have available. Um, for all the students who may be in the call, if you're a brand new student, then your only access to learn about scholarships that would be available to you is through the admission office. And so that will be through our Center for International Education. And currently we do have some scholarships that are available for us to offer students. But as I mentioned, those scholarships are very high merit type scholarships, and so those are kind of offered sparsely. We do have one scholarship that is awarded for the entire 4 years of a student's studies, and that is also awarded to initial new students as well. And so I mentioned that because those are the ones that we would be able to share a little bit about through our Center for International Students if students are eligible for them. But for the other scholarships, they would need to be an enrolled current student in order to access what those other scholarships are.
Fair enough. So one more reason to reach out to the team and ask directly. Okay, so actually you mentioned merit-based scholarships, kind of dovetails another question here. This student is interested in, looks like kinesiology. I'm not sure if that's something you offer or not, but the question is about competitive admissions averages for Canadian students. Do you have any sense of what sort of high school grades are required to get admission to SMSU?
Yeah, so we have we our admission is open in terms of we don't have a limited number of cohort that we recruit only for a specific year. And so if we meet, the 20 students quota, then we won't accept it anymore. That is not SMSU. And so as long as you meet our admission requirements and our minimum requirements, then it's very highly likely that you will be admitted. So our admission requirement is that you have to have a minimum US GPA equivalent of a 2.5, which is basically if you are a mostly, you know, A, B, or C student, you would be able to be eligible. But we will do the conversion of your high school grade so that we can convert it to the US system so that we can see what it converts to if it's at least a 2.5 or higher.
Cool. Okay, that's good to know. And yeah, achievable as well. Okay, just a couple of more questions before we let you go. How about this? Are there any sort of unique programs at SMSU or sort of special offerings that are kind of hard to find elsewhere? Anything that really sort of stands out in your catalog?
Yes. So you mentioned kinesiology, and I wanted to say that we don't have that, but we do have a wonderful program called exercise science, which is very similar. And our
Mhm.
exercise science program, a lot of our graduates who complete this 4-year degree, they go on to medical school, professional chiropractic schools. Um, so it is a wonderful opportunity for students to, if you want to become like for example, a physical therapist. Those are all options in terms of graduating with this degree and then going forward with those majors in the future. And so I wanted to mention about the exercise science program because you said that earlier. That is a very popular program. Right now, they don't have a limit in terms of number of students going into that program, but it is becoming very popular. So I'm not exactly sure what that will mean in the future. Um, let's see, other popular programs. I would say computer science. That's very popular. Psychology and social work has been very popular. Um, we have data science. That's another STEM major that is a popular program as well. Um, let's see, other programs that I think. So we do have for students who may be considering a graduate degree. I know we're talking mostly about undergraduate programs, but we do have a master's in cybersecurity that if students are interested, that would be a very popular one too. Um, and then our other master's program is the Master's in Business Administration. So for anyone who may be interested in graduate studies, those are two popular graduate programs for now.
Cool, thanks. Yeah, we always have some grad curious students signing up for these, so that's good to know.
Mhm.
Last call for questions, of course. We're getting close to the end of our time, but I do have one more for you, which is hidden gems around campus. Any particular places, sort of hidden nooks, maybe on or off campus in the area that you just can't get enough of?
That's a great question. So um, the great thing about campus is that we can get pretty cold here, as I can imagine up in Toronto or Canada. It can be pretty cold up there as well. But the great thing about campus is that we are connected with our lower level. And so there are lower level tunnels that goes from one building to the next. And so in the wintertime, when it's really, really cold and you don't want to walk outside, you don't have to. So once you get to campus, you can just walk through the tunnels to be able to connect to the other buildings and go to your classes that way. So that's a great gem. Another hidden gem is that when you walk into the different buildings, there are really just some cozy spots that you can find where it's a nook, it's a corner, and you can sit down and you'll find a comfy chair where you can just sit down and do your homework. So I would say a very popular place is the student center, and you'll find a lot of people studying, but you'll also find our Mustang zone there, where a lot of people will be playing games and playing pool and ping pong and karaokeing as well. And so it can be pretty loud there at times, but there are other quiet spots in the area where people do study as well.
Super cool. The tunnels thing is something I didn't know, and so I'm kind of fascinated and would love to see that someday. Okay, so we are getting close to the end of our time. Maylee, is there any parting words of wisdom, anything maybe that you want to share with us that we haven't touched on yet before we let you go?
I think that my advice is that studying abroad, studying in the United States is totally doable, and I would highly encourage you to consider coming to the U.S., especially to Southwest Minnesota State University. We're just right across the border We have a wonderful education for an affordable price, and we're also a very, very safe and beautiful campus. And so I think that for those of you who may be wondering, can I do this? You know, it might be too expensive. I just want to let you know that there are so many different types and options of universities here in the United States. And we happen to be one where a lot of people find that we are the hidden gems. And so we hope that you consider applying to SMSU.
Super cool. Thanks so much, Bailey. Really appreciate your time. And everybody for tuning in and watching the recording. Appreciate it as well. Have a great evening, and we'll talk again soon. Take care.
Thank you, Logan. Thanks, everyone. Good night.